Greetings, everyone. I want to talk about the upcoming new moon that will be July 5th or 6th, depending on where you are on the globe. And part of what I want to focus on in this lunar cycle are some of the powerful transits or shifts that we will be experiencing with both Venus and Mars, and what this might mean for us as we're integrating those energies within us. And as you know, an ongoing theme that I talk about in my videos is the importance for us of reweaving, reintegrating the energies of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine as we're moving into the Aquarian age and moving into these new paradigms that are about higher consciousness and coming back more into our wholeness, into balance, into harmony. And I believe that this lunar cycle, in a powerful way, is supporting us in doing that inner work to guide us into those new paradigms. Let me show you the chart of this new moon. So here we will have the new moon at 14 degrees of Cancer. And the sun and the moon at that time are both conjunct Venus. Venus is currently invisible in the sky and has been across the last few months as she's transitioning from her time as a morning star into her time as an evening star. This is the time where Venus is in her superior conjunction around the backside of the sun from our Earth perspective. And as I've said in earlier videos, I see this time as the time when Venus is communing with the stars. She will be emerging as an evening star about July 23rd. And at that time, she will be in the sign of Leo. And I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But this is very significant that we're in this time, in this lunar cycle, when she is going to move from being invisible to beginning to appear in the evening sky after sunset. At the time of this new moon, we also have a sextile to Mars. And what's significant with Mars during this lunar cycle is that you can see it's moving into conjunction with Uranus. It will move into a 5-degree orb or conjunction with Uranus on July 7th and be in a 5-degree orb until July 23rd, the day that Venus begins to appear in the evening sky. It will go exact with Uranus at 26 degrees of Taurus on July 15th. And I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. So the important aspects that we have at the time of this new moon are the conjunction with Venus, this sextile with Mars. We also have the sun and moon squaring Chiron, again, supporting that activation of healing that has been an ongoing theme across these past few lunar cycles. And we also have a trine with Saturn, which I see as helping us in this integration of these different energies in how we can integrate our being informed, but also honoring our higher expanding consciousness. I talked a lot in my last video about the full moon about this combination of Pholus the Centaur and these Kuiper Belt objects, Ixion and Quaoar, and the asteroid Ceres. At the time of this new moon, the new moon is opposite this combination. So I believe that the integration that we're meant to do with these energies of Venus and Mars that are sextiling each other, as well as in important aspects to this new moon, are guiding us in how to work this combination that, again, I talked about in the last video. Ixion, from my perspective, being that energy of the shadow aspect of our being in a process of individuation and self-expression. Remember, Ixion is the character who impulsively seeks whatever he wants, no matter what the consequence. He kills his father-in-law. He lusts after Hera, the wife of Zeus. He creates havoc in his relationships because of his lack of empathy, lack of being in right relationship, and his focus on his own self-interest, his own desires, his own impulsivity. And I talked about how that centaur Pholus is guiding us to heal those shadow aspects of ourselves in order to come into integration and wholeness. Quawar, who is that creation deity that is androgynous and is fully integrating the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine to come into wholeness and to call everything into creation and into the song of the cosmos that is about living in balance and harmony. So this sequence is so speaking to this journey of healing and transformation that we need to be in this time to move into wholeness and into these new paradigms of the Aquarian age, where we can live in more harmony and balance with each other and within ourselves as we integrate the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, which then allows us to be nurturing with each other and in right relationship with the earth. Ceres. And Ceres at the time of this new moon is in an exact opposition to the sun and the moon, which in the sign of Cancer are about how are we compassionate? How are we nurturing? How are we in relationship with each other in a way that is caring and compassionate? How are we in right relationship with the earth? But let me talk now more about this energy with Venus and Mars that I see as so critically important in this lunar cycle. If you remember, the journey of Venus, which is described in exquisite beauty in the ancient Sumerian myth of Inanna that dates back to about 3000 BCE. But its written version is probably closer to 2000 BCE. And so the myth itself speaks to the transition from the age of Taurus into the age of Aries. But it's also describing the Venus journey and how Venus is in her journey as the evening star for about 9 months. Beautiful in the western sky after sunset. Then Venus disappears from view, and at that time, she is in her inferior conjunction between the Earth and the Sun. This, from my perspective, is the intense time of the Venus cycle, described in the myth of Inanna as when Inanna does her underworld journey to reconnect with her lost sister, Ereshkigal. But it's also very symbolic of Inanna's need to do that inner work, that deep dive, that journey within to connect to the lost parts of herself. Ereshkigal has been traumatized and banished and pushed into the underworld. And I do believe that Inanna, who is Queen of Heaven, realizes she needs to reclaim those traumatized parts of herself to come into wholeness. But it's also a description of how, in her effort to reconnect with her lost sister, she goes through this conflict, this death rebirth, this transformational process. She's traumatized in that encounter and does not heal her relationship with her sister, but it is a catalyst for Inanna's transformation. She then is resurrected by Enki, the god of wisdom, Saturn, who sends these earth creatures to help heal Ereshkigal and heal and resurrect Inanna. She then arises out of the underworld and emerges as the morning star, where she journeys in the morning sky before sunrise for approximately 9 months, to then disappear from view in her superior conjunction behind the sun, where she is now. I really see this journey, this Venus cycle, described in the myth of Inanna, as our journey of transformation in the context of relationship. How we need to work that relationship with ourselves and reclaim lost parts of ourselves. We all are a multiplicity of selves. We have these different facets, different aspects of who we are, related to childhood experiences or trauma or aspects of ourselves that we tend to keep in the shadow. We all have these different facets of who we are, that if we're really to come into wholeness, it is important that we bring those parts of ourselves into the light of consciousness, into awareness, so that we can see those aspects of ourselves clearly and work with them consciously and heal what needs to be healed, but then function from an alignment with our witness self that is able to align us with our soul selves, so that we're growing and learning and transforming in this lifetime in the ways that we're meant to evolve and to deepen in our capacity for love for ourselves in order to fully love and be in relationship with each other. So the journey of Inanna and this Venus cycle is guiding us in how to be in that transformational journey of the inner work that we need to do, but it's also showing us how often our experiences of the most profound transformation come in the context of relationship. Like Inanna, those may be traumatizing experiences in relationship, or they may be profound healing relationships, as there are other aspects of the myth of Inanna that describe those relationships in her life, her marriage, her friendships, her relationship with her son. We have this whole spectrum of relationships, some of which are guiding us and supporting us in our growth, some of which are catalysts for our evolution because they activate us or traumatize us. And in working that, we grow, we deepen, we heal and evolve if we allow ourselves to do that inner work as Inanna did. So the Venus cycle, and this is where in my recent conversation with Divine Harmony, we were talking a lot about the importance of developing new stories, new myths for this new age that we're moving into. We can't hang on to the paradigms of the past as we're moving through this transformation into a new age and a new way of being and a higher level of consciousness. We need new ways of understanding ourselves and our relationships and our world and our lives that reflect these new paradigms of the Aquarian age that are about truth and justice, community, collaboration, living in balance and harmony. We are exiting out of a 5,000-year period of the Kali Yuga, the time of forgetting, the time of imbalance, the time of being in this paradigm of patriarchal culture that is about power over, and the shadow aspect of Mars and the age of Aries. So Venus is supporting us in showing us how we can be in this inner journey of healing and transformation, and how we can consciously work with our relationship experiences to be catalysts for our growth and our transformation. As Venus is in the superior conjunction, this longer period of her disappearance from view, I truly believe that she is in that phase where she's come out of the underworld, been in the journey of the morning star phase. Now she's reflecting on the whole experience and taking this time to integrate, to honor the changes that she's been through, to come more into wholeness, to commune with the sun and the stars, to be guided in her spiritual journey, to emerge then as an evening star in a more integrated, whole, and balanced sense of herself. This is what's possible for us as we do the inner work and honor this period of reflection, contemplation, meditation. What is the inner healing that we're needing to work to be in that deeper understanding of ourselves and of relationship, to emerge with Venus as an evening star in a place of more inner balance and harmony that then guides us. And in the Inanna story, as she does emerge from her experience in that underworld transformational experience, it's also guiding her in how to be in the relationships in her life in a new way now that she's done that inner work. And as she emerges from that time of contemplation in the superior conjunction, she's now more fully understanding how to be in balance with all of the relationships in her life. So as Venus emerges on the 23rd, or close to that time frame, she will be in the sign of Leo, coming from the heart with courage to live out that integration. And Venus emerges and comes into view when she's 14 degrees from the sun. So she'll just begin to be visible as the sun is at 1 degree of Leo on July 23rd, and Venus is at 15 degrees of Leo, 14 degrees from the sun. And the meaning of the Sabian symbol of that degree is sunshine after a storm. How we can come into this clarity after the stormy time, after the turbulence, to promote spiritual connectedness in community, to come from a more integrated understanding of how to be in right relationship with ourselves and each other. Sunshine after the storm. Venus is guiding us in how to live from our hearts, how to have that courage, that light of consciousness, to be embracing all the facets of ourselves, to then be in a place of wholeness and integration in order to emanate that light of love to those around us. And we, like Venus, can emerge in the evening sky, glowing with that light of love and consciousness. It's amazing that this is all unfolding as Mars is in its own journey in this lunar cycle. It's highly significant that Mars is moving into this powerful conjunction with Uranus, and that they will come into full conjunction on July 15th at 26 degrees of Taurus. And the meaning of that degree in the Sabian symbols is we develop a calm wisdom that grows with age. We develop a calm wisdom that grows with age. Mars conjunct Uranus in Taurus has many layers of meaning. It can mean sudden, unexpected events, but that is the shadow aspect of that combination. If we're working it consciously, I see Mars conjunct Uranus as increasing clarity about how we act and use that sacred masculine aspect of ourselves for our expression of will. Remember Mars, and again, let's reclaim the meaning of Mars and take it out of that lens of Greek and Roman mythology that would portray Mars as the warrior and the god of war, and Venus as the goddess of love and romance. Let's go to the deeper archetypal meaning of these, and we've just talked about the profound meaning of Venus in guiding us in honoring that evolutionary path of relationship with ourselves, with each other. And Mars is about the hero's journey. Mars is about our journey of discovery of the uniqueness of who we each are. It is about our exploration of our individuation. The Mars cycle begins with Mars venturing away from the sun, source, to be on its journey of exploration. It then comes to its culmination and its brightest time as it's opposite the sun. When Mars has been on this journey of exploring the hero's journey to realize, it finds its true consciousness and light of awareness of what this journey is about when it comes back into relationship with the sun, source. And then as it continues its cycle, returning back to conjunction with the sun, Mars is realizing this exploration, this discovery of my uniqueness and of my gifts is bringing me back into a realization that this journey is about being of service, bringing these gifts back into community, back into connection, back into relationship with those around me. So we really need to tell new stories, deepen our archetypal understanding of Venus and Mars, who are guiding us in how to reclaim and reintegrate the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine within us. We all have Mars and Venus in our charts. We all have these energies of Mars and Venus within us. As we associate these planets with the chakras, I see Mars as associated with the third chakra. Our experience of understanding our sense of self and our expression of will. Venus as associated with the heart chakra. How we are in relationship within ourselves, with each other, and living from the heart. Remember that the heart chakra is the central chakra of the primary chakras of our bodies. As we honor that energy of Venus and the sacred feminine within us, it shapes and guides us in how we express ourselves and act and be asserting our will in the world. Mars. Mars then flows out of that inner harmony, that sense of wholeness, that capacity to live from the heart. So Mars in this lunar cycle is in its own journey of discovery, of clarity, of transformation. I believe Uranus is guiding Mars to see clearly this deeper understanding of the sacred masculine within us, this deeper understanding of the hero's journey, to guide us and set us free from these shadow aspects of Mars and the imbalances of the age of Aries that have fostered this power over paradigm and this conflict, competition, sense of separation and disconnection from each other, from those aspects of ourselves, from being in right relationship with the earth. This is a profound time when Mars and Venus are in a sextile with each other, collaborating, communicating, coming into these new ways of being to guide us in how we can heal and come into wholeness, to be moving into the new paradigms of the Aquarian age that are about being in balance, being in harmony, coming from the heart, having our will be an expression of how we can emanate that love and wisdom of the cosmos that comes through us. It is interesting, in light of these energies of Mars and Venus in this lunar cycle, that the Sabian symbol for this new moon at 14 degrees of Cancer is how we seek to fulfill our destiny. And in the process, we discover universal, eternal truths that guide us to the celebration of self. Self in that deeper, higher consciousness of wholeness, of alignment with the soul self. So this new moon is guiding us in this journey of reclaiming these universal truths about the deeper meaning of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, to support us in growing in wisdom, to support Mars in now being a more mature, wise expression of Mars, to support Venus in being the sunshine after the storm, to help us remember that our essence is about being soul selves, having a human experience, and that we are here to evolve and grow in love and wisdom and to live in harmony and balance, to be guided by being in right relationship, Venus, in order to live and express ourselves in right action, Mars. And let me now show you where these configurations are in the sky at the time of this new moon. So the sun and moon at the time of the new moon will be here in the stars of Gemini, known throughout so many cultures across the globe and in ancient times as the twins, as the integration of mortality and immortality, of shadow and light. And Venus will also be here, close to this star Wasat, which is this shamanic energy of guiding us in this integration of the energies of the twins, of Castor and Pollux. So this new moon is saying, integrate these different facets of yourselves, honor the light and the shadow within you, but bring it into conscious awareness and allow Venus to guide you in how that can emerge in a more integrated, whole way. And Mars will be moving into conjunction with Uranus here in this part of the sky that I talk about a lot. This interaction between Perseus the warrior and Cetus the whale. And this, again, is that part of the sky that, seen through Greek mythology, is about the conflict between the warrior and the wisdom of the deep, the wisdom of the sacred feminine. And I do believe this conjunction with Uranus and Mars in this powerful part of the sky is saying, shatter those paradigms of polarization and the way in which the energies of the masculine and feminine have been in opposition with each other, have been in conflict, where we are caught in this power over dynamic, where there is trauma, victimization, domination, exploitation. Uranus conjunct Mars is saying, shatter those old paradigms, come in to the light of truth and clarity, and realize these energies can be integrated so that the sacred masculine now is honoring the wisdom of the deep and of the sacred feminine. And these can be coming into right relationship so that the wisdom of the sacred feminine is guiding the action of the hero, of the spiritual warrior, in how he acts and moves in the world. And that we integrate these within us. We have that deep wisdom and energy of our hearts, of the sacred feminine, that can then guide those actions, that expression of will, the Mars energy within us, the sacred masculine within us. And I wanted to also show you, as Venus is just beginning to emerge as an evening star, you can see that she will now be 14 degrees from the sun and just beginning to appear on the western horizon after the sunset. She is moving into the stars of Leo. She is facing the lion, is moving into connection with Regulus, the heart of Leo the lion, to guide us in coming back to living from our hearts with courage. And Mercury is also at that time conjunct Regulus. And at times you can barely see Mercury in the evening sky above the horizon after sunset. And if you can see Mercury then, you'll see it conjunct the royal star, Regulus, guiding us to think and feel and come from our hearts, to guide us into clarity, into new ways of acting and being in the world. As I talked about in my recent full moon video, these energies in the sky are guiding us into these new forms of consciousness, into this higher understanding of ourselves and our world, into remembering the essence of who we truly are, spiritual beings having a human experience, that we're here to grow and evolve in love and wisdom. That as we're moving out of the Kali Yuga, the time of forgetting, and into the Aquarian age, into higher consciousness, we are guided to heal, to come into our wholeness, to remember who we truly are, so that we can live from the heart, from that deeper understanding of Venus, to act in our lives from that place of balance and harmony and right relationship, to be able to co-create this new world together that is about collaboration, cooperation, co-creation with the cosmos, to move into a new world that is in balance, is in harmony, is mirroring that energy of Quawar, where together we're singing the song of creation and feeling those energies of harmony and balance within us and emanating out from us. As we're in this transition time, it's very turbulent. And the shadow aspect of this conjunction of Uranus and Mars can be some of that turbulence and can guide those that are not working this time consciously into ways of acting out or unexpected events that are disruptive. But that's not the deeper meaning of this conjunction. That is not the deeper meaning of these energies of the planets and the stars that are supporting us in this time of healing and transformation. But in the midst of the turbulence, as we're in the stormy times of this transformation, may we remember that Venus, as she's emerging as an evening star, is reminding us that the sunshine comes after the storm, that her light and energy emerging as an evening star is saying, remember, you can do the healing work to come into integration, to shine with love and light in the world, to be that light in the darkness. So may we continue to support each other, hold that energy of love with and for each other, to be doing that inner work, to be in that process of healing, to come into wholeness, to then have our expression of Mars, of our personal will, be in right alignment, right harmony, right balance with the love and wisdom of the cosmos. Blessings and love to all of you. Blessed be.